My hand trembled as I held the lavender face mask Jessica had left on the bathroom counter. February 12th, 2 days before Valentine's Day. Through the window, I watched her white Mercedes pull away from the driveway, heading toward what she'd called a much-needed spa weekend with the girls. I set the face mask down and walked back to the living room. The house felt enormous with just me in it, 58 years old, standing in my retired teacher's pension-funded home, watching my youngest daughter drive away without a backward glance. "Mom, seriously, you should just relax this weekend," Jessica had said that morning, her perfectly manicured nails tapping against her phone screen. "The spa has these intense hot stone treatments and cryotherapy sessions. It's really for younger people who can handle that kind of thing." I'd smiled and nodded, like I always did. "Of course, honey. You girls have fun. Plus," she'd added, barely looking up, "Sarah's going to be busy with work stuff, so it'll just be me and the influencer crew. You'd be bored anyway. We'll be talking about engagement rates and algorithm changes all weekend." That part stung a little. My older daughter, Sarah, a pediatric surgeon, was always busy, but she called. She visited when she could. She brought my granddaughter Emma over for Sunday dinners. Jessica, on the other hand, lived 20 minutes away, but I saw her maybe once a month, usually when she needed something. I picked up my phone and scrolled through my messages. Nothing from Jessica since she'd left, but there was a text from Emma, my 7-year-old granddaughter. "Grandma, can I come visit after school? Mom has a late surgery." "Of course, sweetie," I typed back. "I'll make your favorite cookies." 3 hours later, Emma burst through my front door, her backpack bouncing against her shoulders. "Grandma, guess what happened in school today?" I was pulling chocolate chip cookies from the oven when she raced into the kitchen. We spent the afternoon the way we always did. She did her homework at the kitchen table while I helped her with her spelling words. We played 2 rounds of Go Fish. She told me about her friend Sophia's birthday party coming up. "Can you help me pick a present for Sophia?" Emma asked, sitting cross-legged on my couch. "Mom says she's too busy this week." "Of course I can. We'll go shopping this weekend." Emma pulled out her iPad, the one Sarah had given her for educational apps. "Grandma, do you have Instagram?" "No, honey. I never really understood all that." "Aunt Jessica posts so much. Want to see?" Before I could answer, Emma had already pulled up Jessica's profile. My daughter's face filled the screen in various poses: gym selfies, coffee shop aesthetics, outfit of the day photos. "See? She has like 50,000 followers." Emma scrolled enthusiastically. "Oh, she just posted a story. Look, Grandma." Emma tapped the colorful circle around Jessica's profile picture. The screen filled with a photo that made my heart stop. It wasn't a spa. It wasn't even California. Jessica stood in front of the Burj Khalifa, the Dubai skyline glittering behind her. She wore a designer dress I'd never seen before, holding shopping bags from Gucci and Louis Vuitton. The caption read, "Dubai dreams with my love number, luxury travel number, Dubai life." "Wow, Aunt Jessica went to Dubai?" Emma said. "I thought she said she was going to a spa?" My mind went blank. Then it started racing. "Emma, honey," I said carefully, "can you go to the kitchen and get yourself a glass of milk? I need to make a quick phone call." As soon as she left, I grabbed my phone and opened my bank app. My fingers shook as I logged in. I went straight to my credit card statement. February 10th, Emirates Airlines, $3,200. February 11th, Atlantis, The Palm Hotel, $2,800. February 12th, Gucci, Dubai Mall, $1,400. My vision blurred. I scrolled further back. January 15th, Louis Vuitton, $2,300. January 8th, Tiffany & Co., $3,100. December 28th, Chanel, $4,200. December 15th, Dior, $2,800. I kept scrolling. November, October, September, $25,000. My daughter had spent $25,000 of my retirement savings in 4 months. I called the number on the back of the card. The automated voice asked me to verify my identity, then connected me to a representative. "This is Marcus. How can I help you today? I need to report unauthorized charges on my account." My voice sounded strange, distant. "I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Can you tell me which charges you're disputing?" I read off the dates and amounts, my voice steady now. "Professional. This was a transaction, nothing more. I'm showing that these charges were made with a card that's registered to your daughter, Jessica Hartwell. Is that correct?" My breath caught. "I authorized her to have a card on my account for emergencies. I did not authorize these purchases." "I understand. I'm going to freeze that card immediately and open a fraud investigation. Would you like to file a police report as well?" "Yes." The word came out harder than I'd intended. After I hung up, I sat there in my living room, staring at the wall. Emma came back with her milk. "Grandma, are you okay? You look sad." I pulled her into a hug. "I'm fine, sweetie. Just tired." That night, after Sarah picked up Emma, I couldn't sleep. I kept refreshing Jessica's Instagram story. She'd posted 3 more updates. Jessica at a rooftop pool. Jessica at a fancy restaurant. Jessica shopping at the Gold Souk. And in every photo after the first one, I could see him. A man I didn't recognize. Expensive watch, designer clothes, his arm around my daughter. At 11 p.m., my phone rang. "Jessica." "What the hell, Mom?" Her voice was shrill. "My card just declined at a restaurant. Do you know how embarrassing that was?" "That's my card, Jessica. And I know you're not at a spa." Silence. "I saw your Instagram," I continued, my voice calm. "Dubai looks lovely this time of year." "Mom, I can explain. You told me you were going to a spa for young people. You told me I was too old to join you. Meanwhile, you've been using my credit card to fund a lifestyle I could never afford, even when I was working." "It's not like that. Tom is an investor. He needed me to look a certain way for his business partners." $25,000, Jessica. Another silence. "I was going to pay you back," she said finally. "My sponsorships are about to come through. I just needed to invest in my brand first." "By stealing from your mother?" "I didn't steal. You gave me access to that card for emergencies." "This was an emergency. Do you know how competitive the influencer space is? I needed better content, better clothes, better experiences. You don't understand." "You're right. I don't understand how my daughter could lie to my face, take advantage of my trust, and then act like she's the victim." "Whatever, Mom. You've always been like this. You've never supported my dreams. Sarah's the golden child who became a doctor, and I'm just the disappointment, right?" "Jessica." She hung up. I sat in the darkness of my bedroom. The woman who'd taught 4th graders for 32 years. The woman who'd scrimped and saved to give both her daughters a good life after their father left. The woman who'd never said no when her children asked for help. That woman was done. The next morning, Sarah called. "Mom, what's going on?" "Jessica just texted me saying you sabotaged her." "Something about her card?" I explained everything. The Instagram story, the charges, the lies. "Oh my God," Sarah breathed. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was doing this." "Neither did I. Do you want me to talk to her?" "No. I've already filed a fraud report with the bank, and I'm going to file a police report this afternoon." "Police? Mom, she's your daughter. Who committed credit card fraud?" My voice was steel. "I love her, Sarah, but I won't be her doormat anymore." Sarah was quiet for a moment. "You're right. I'm sorry. This is just, I can't believe Jessica would do this. There's more. She's in Dubai with some man named Tom. She's been posting it all over Instagram." "Wait, Tom? Tom Morrison? Do you know him?" "He's not an investor, Mom. He's a trust fund kid who burned through his inheritance last year. Jessica mentioned him a few months ago. I thought they were just friends." Of course he wasn't an investor." That afternoon, I drove to the police station. The officer who took my statement was kind but professional. He explained that this would likely be handled as a misdemeanor given our relationship, but there would still be consequences. Your daughter will probably be contacted when she returns to the country, he said. The bank fraud investigation is separate from the criminal charges. I understand. I drove home in a daze. What had I done? My daughter might have a criminal record because of me. But then I thought about the lies, the manipulation, the way she'd called me too old, as if my age made me disposable. No, I'd done the right thing. Jessica came home 3 days later. I knew because Sarah called me, her voice tight with anger. She showed up at my house at 6 a.m., Sarah said, crying, saying you ruined her life. Mom, her face is all over TikTok. What? Someone at the restaurant filmed her card declining. Then people started digging through her Instagram. They found all these photos of designer stuff, connected the dots about her sponsors being fake, and now she's being called out for fraud. Her follower count has dropped by 30,000. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. Is she okay? Physically? Yes. But Mom, I can't have her here. She's been nothing but cruel about you all morning. She called you a bitter old woman who's jealous of her youth and success. Sarah's voice cracked. I told her to leave. I said I wouldn't talk to her again until she apologized to you. Sarah, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I'm tired of watching her treat you like an ATM while I'm working 80-hour weeks to barely see my own daughter. Emma adores you. You're the one who shows up for us. And Jessica can't even be bothered to remember your birthday. My birthday, May 15th. Jessica hadn't called in 3 years. I love you, Mom, Sarah said softly. And I'm sorry I didn't see this sooner. The next 2 weeks were chaos. The bank refunded most of the charges after their investigation confirmed Jessica had exceeded her authorized use of the card. The police case moved forward slowly. Jessica hired a lawyer with money I assumed Tom had given her, and Jessica's online presence imploded. Her former followers found inconsistencies everywhere. The sponsored posts that brands confirmed they'd never paid for, the luxury lifestyle funded by credit card fraud, the boyfriend who'd just been arrested for securities fraud. Tom, it turned out, had been scamming investors for years. Jessica had known. The Dubai trip was a last hurrah before the feds caught up with him. Jessica's Instagram went private. Her TikTok was deleted. Her YouTube channel, which had 50,000 subscribers, was demonetized after people mass reported it. I didn't take pleasure in any of it. I just felt sad. In March, the court mandated that Jessica attend financial counseling and complete community service. The judge was lenient, given her cooperation and lack of prior record, but she had to pay restitution, $200 a month, until the debt was cleared. She moved back in with me. I didn't want her there. But the alternative was her being homeless, and I couldn't do that. She was still my daughter. The first week was silent. She stayed in her old bedroom, only emerging for meals. She'd gotten a job at a coffee shop, something she'd said was beneath her when she was building her influencer brand. One night, I knocked on her door. Jessica, can we talk? She opened it, her face puffy from crying. What? I need you to understand something. I'm not punishing you because I'm jealous or bitter or too old to understand your dreams. Then why? Her voice was small. Because you hurt me. You lied to me. You made me feel like I was worthless because of my age, and then you stole from me. Tears rolled down her cheeks. I know. I'm sorry. I want to believe that. But sorry isn't enough. You need to show me that you've changed. She nodded, wiping her face. I'll do better. I promise. I didn't know if I believed her, but it was a start. Sarah and Emma started coming over more often. Sarah wanted to support me, she said. And Emma wanted to make sure I was okay. One Saturday in April, Emma found me in the garage, looking at old scuba diving equipment. Grandma, what's this? Something I used to do before you were born. Before your mom and aunt were born, actually. You went diving? That's so cool. I smiled. Your grandpa and I used to go every summer, but after he left, I kind of stopped doing things I loved. Emma picked up my old wetsuit. Do you think you could do it again? That question stuck with me. The next week, I signed up for a refresher course at a dive shop in Santa Barbara. The instructor, a kid who couldn't have been older than 25, looked skeptical when I walked in. Ma'am, this is a pretty intensive course. Have you been diving recently? Not for 30 years. He blinked. And you're 58? Is that a problem? To his credit, he shook his head. No, ma'am, let's get you certified. 3 weeks later, I was diving again. The feeling of weightlessness, of floating through another world, brought back everything I'd forgotten about myself. I wasn't just a mother. I wasn't just a retired teacher. I wasn't just someone's ATM. I was Linda. And Linda liked to dive. I asked Sarah if Emma could come with me for her birthday. Not to dive, but to snorkel and explore the tide pools. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Mom, that sounds perfect. She'd love it. We spent a week in Monterey in May. Emma and I explored the aquarium. We watched otters play in the kelp forests. I took her snorkeling in a calm cove where she saw her first starfish. Grandma, she said one night. As we ate ice cream on the pier, Aunt Jessica says you're mad at her. I was. I'm still hurt. She cries a lot. I nodded. I know, baby. Do you think you'll forgive her? Maybe. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. And it doesn't mean letting someone hurt you again. Emma considered this. That makes sense. Mom says the same thing about boundaries. Smart kid, smart mother. When we got back, Jessica was sitting on the porch. She'd been working double shifts at the coffee shop, picking up weekend catering gigs, trying to pay me back faster than the court mandated. How was the trip? She asked. Wonderful. I showed her photos of Emma with the starfish. Jessica smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's great, Mom. Really? We stood there awkwardly. I'm going scuba diving next month, I said. My instructor says I'm his most active student. Jessica looked up. Really? Really. Turns out 58 isn't too old for anything. She flinched. Mom, I'm so sorry I said that. About the spa. About you being too old. I was horrible. Yes, you were. I don't know how to make this right. You can't. Not all at once. But you can keep trying. One day at a time. She nodded, fresh tears in her eyes. That night, Sarah called me. I heard Jessica actually apologized. A real apology. She did. Do you think she means it? I think she's starting to understand what she did. Whether she truly changes, that remains to be seen. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for, Mom. I'm not strong. I'm just tired of being treated like I'm disposable. You're not disposable. You're everything to us. To me and Emma. After we hung up, I sat on my porch with a glass of wine. The evening was cool, the sky painted in shades of orange and pink. My phone buzzed. A text from the dive shop. Hi, Linda. We're organizing a trip to the Channel Islands next month. Advanced divers only. Interested? I smiled. I thought about the woman I'd been 6 months ago. The one who'd watched her daughter drive away, believing she was too old to matter. The one who'd shrunk herself to fit into other people's comfort zones. That woman was gone. I typed back. Count me in. At 58, I'd learned that setting boundaries didn't make me a bad mother. It made me a person who valued herself. And maybe, just maybe, it would teach my daughters something about respect. Jessica still had a long way to go, but she was working. She was trying. And I was learning that forgiveness didn't mean accepting mistreatment. Sarah told me later that Emma had asked her, Is Grandma happier now? Yes, Sarah had said. I think she finally remembered who she was before everyone else needed her to be something else. I saved up the money from my next 3 pension checks and booked myself a real trip to Dubai. Not to follow in Jessica's fraudulent footsteps, but because I'd always wanted to see it. When I told Sarah, she laughed. Mom, that's perfect. When I told Jessica, she went pale. You're going to Dubai? I am. I'm staying in a modest hotel. visiting the cultural sites, and I'm going to try some real Middle Eastern food. Not shopping at Gucci, not pretending to be someone I'm not, just experiencing it. Mom, I'm not rubbing it in your face, Jessica. I'm just living my life, the one I forgot I had. She nodded slowly. Can I see pictures when you get back? Of course. As I boarded the plane in September, 7 months after that Valentine's Day weekend that changed everything, I thought about Emma's question. Do you think you'll forgive her? Maybe I already had. But forgiveness didn't mean going back to who I was before. It meant moving forward as someone new, someone who knew her worth. The woman in the window seat smiled at me. First time in Dubai? First time in 30 years I've gone anywhere for myself. Well then, she raised her glass of complimentary champagne. Here's to new beginnings. I clinked my glass against hers. To new beginnings, indeed.